July 1st, 1916. At 7:28 a.m., nearly 400,000 British and French troops climbed up from their trenches and headed across no man's land. Their goal, to attack the German army entrenched along the Somme River in France. This marked the beginning of the Battle of the Somme, a monstrous struggle that would last months and shake the world with its bloody carnage and, in the end, its utter futility. The Allied High Command convinced their respective governments that the best way to end the stalemate on the Western Front and win the war was to mount a great offensive. They would attack the center of one of the best fortified German positions on the front. It was a foolhardy decision that would end in catastrophe. The incredibly destructive and accurate firepower of new weapons like the machine gun and the long-range cannon made the massed infantry bayonet charges of earlier wars obsolete. Unfortunately, this fact had still not been learned by the Allied High Command. Within the first 15 minutes of the attack, thousands of advancing troops were cut to shreds by the deadly German machine gun fire. By the end of the first day, British casualties alone reached 60,000. Over 19,000 lay dead or mortally wounded. The fighting raged on for months. On September 15th, the British launched a general attack on a 10-mile front and used tanks on the battlefield for the first time. Although there were too few tanks to make much of a difference, their potential was noted. Back in Britain, with the true picture of the battle emerging, there was much public protest about the way the war was being fought. There was also a growing anti-war movement. On a political level, one direct result of the disastrous Somme campaign was a change in the leadership of the coalition government. David Lloyd George was appointed the new prime minister, and a new cabinet was announced, including the presence of a young Winston Churchill. Back on the battlefield, the Allies had conquered about 125 square miles of territory, but nothing of great strategic importance. On November 18th, the Battle of the Somme ended, with British losses at a staggering 400,000 men. The French lost almost 200,000. Though German casualties were nearly as high, it did not lessen the pain and sense of loss felt in England and France. When the Allies set out on July 1st, 1916, they had intended to win the Battle of the Somme and the war. But the battle only showed how difficult this was going to be. The bloody destruction and horror of World War I continued for another 2 years.